They call me Dr. Manhattan. They explain the name has been chosen for the ominous associations it will raise in America's enemies.
Hi guys, welcome back. This video is going to be about the panel or the frame, the basic organizing principle of all comic books or graphic novels. If you are one of my students, you will have a note sheet in your OneNote, and if not, well, welcome, and I hope you learned something. You're currently looking at the first 2 pages of Watchmaker, a part of Alan Moore's comic book Watchmen, which came out originally in 1985. In these pages we are told a little bit more about one of the main characters, Dr. Manhattan, who is the blue figure you see on the pages. But these pages also serve as a very good example of understanding what panels or the individual frame does in terms of our understanding of a comic book. In the story, Dr. Manhattan is pretty much omnipotent. He's basically God. He's able to manipulate matter on a subatomic level using just the power of his mind. But what really sets him apart from the rest of humanity is the fact that he perceives time simultaneously, all times happening at the same time. That is the only thing that he's unable to do anything about. He is actually trapped in the framework of time. The panel or the frame is the primary tool that the author can use to guide our understanding of what's going on in the story. As a consequence, their size, their shape, their orientation, and the pattern in which they appear on the page are all important to our understanding of the story. So we look for these things intuitively when we interpret how the story goes. These are spread pages, so we read them left to right, top to bottom, but the shape and size of the framing gives us a pace, a rhythm that we read within. So as a consequence of that, it is important for us to determine what the standard layout of the standard spread page in a comic might be. In this case, it is a 3x3 framework we're looking at. If we take a closer look at the first 3 frames of the first page, we see that the division between them, which are called gutters, is uniform and to the exact same size every time on the whole of the first page. That is actually what gives us the rhythm we're talking about. And because Dr. Manhattan is perceiving time the way he is, everything is pretty much at a standstill. The rhythm and the pace with which we read is universally divided into the same amount of time for each frame, just like he perceives all times at the same time. We can also talk about perspectives. Looking at these images, we have a close-up of his hand holding a photo. We then have a bird's eye view of the same photo lying in the sand of Mars, which is where he's at right now, why the planet is red. And then we have a standard normal perspective total shot of Dr. Manhattan sitting on a rock. Looking down over the page while also reading the text, we see that Manhattan is reflecting over the photo and where he found it, and the fact that he is perceiving that at the same time. So to him, it's all of this, the whole page, every single frame on the page is simultaneous. We see this reflected in the fact that some of the images are reused, that we end on the 9th frame of this page is the same as the 2nd frame, and as we switch our perception to the next page, we see more frames reused. This is called rhyming, and it is comparable to when, say, a piece of poetry rhymes. So the repetition of frames in this case just serves to underline Dr. Manhattan's perception of reality and of time. Eventually, the page ends, and it does so with a a break, a split from the norm, the standard of 3x3, giving us a single frame which takes up the space of 3 frames, with a tiny Dr. Manhattan in the middle of it all, just to show how isolated he has become, or has chosen to become. That's it for now. Next time we're going to take a deeper dive into what happens when the boundaries of the frame are broken, and when the story, as a consequence of that, goes into totally new territory. I'll see ya.